Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Teaching English on Dروس Super Goal 4. Before we start, we would like to welcome Mr. Salih Al-Ujan, the interpreter to the sign language. We start our class by reviewing the objectives or the plan for this lesson. By the end of the class, students will be able to identify the format of news articles and stories, scan news stories and important information, and identify the past and the past participle of some irregular verbs. Now we are still at Unit 7, and the title of this unit is Today's News, and the two sections that we are going to study today are Writing and Project. Before we start our main class, which is Writing, let's review some of the information that we gave you in the previous lesson. We told you when we read and when we write, we should take care of our grammar. So when we tell stories, we have to use the two tenses in the past. When we use the past progressive, we talk about something continuous in the past. Like here, we talk about Badriya. We say Badriya was sleeping. Okay, when she was sleeping, there is another action happened during that time. We say here, the phone rang. So here, it is very important to differentiate between the two tenses. Both of them are in the past, but one is continuous and one is simple. What was Badriya doing when the phone rang? We say Badriya was sleeping when the phone rang. Also, we talk about Ibrahim. We can ask about Ibrahim. What was Ibrahim doing when his mother called him for dinner? We can tell Ibrahim was doing his homework when his mother called him for dinner. Also in the reading passage, we read about Martha, the brave little girl, when she saved her little brother. And in this story, we learned how to answer the questions. Because as always, readers want to know some answers for questions they put in their minds. Who, what, where, when, and why. So we included all the answers of these questions in the reading passage. And that reading passage was under the title, Age Means Nothing. This is the first paragraph of the reading when the writer introduced the story of brave girl, Martha, and how she will save her little brother. Also, we talked about, in the second paragraph, about the father and action and reaction to the carjacker, and how the carjacker overpowered the father and took the car. And here in this paragraph number 3, we learn about how Martha was brave and how she could defeat the carjacker by hitting him and by pulling his hair, and which makes him stop the car, as you can see here, and let the little girl and her brother come out of the car, and they hold hands and went back to their father. Okay, also we told you to discuss how you react if you are exposed to one of this situation. Like you have to defend yourself, like screaming, like trying to be brave to fight against the one or the thief who is trying to take something from you, or who was trying to hurt you in any way. You have to be careful how to react, and you should ask your teacher, your parents about what is the best thing to do if you want to defend yourself against any thief. Okay, also in the workbook, we studied a reading passage about a moose, and we answered some questions about this reading passage to check your understanding. And also in the previous lesson, we studied about some irregular verbs, and we told you that the verb get, we can use it in the past as got, and in the past participle gotten. The verb give can be used as gave in the past, given in the past participle. Go, we can use it as went in the past, gone in the past participle. Hang out, we can use it also in the present, hung out in the past, and hung out also in the past participle. The last verb we studied also in the previous lesson was have. We can use it in the past as had, and we can use it in the past participle as had as well. And now we move to our main class of today, that is about writing. We told you whenever you want to be a good writer, you have to be a good reader. So you can read you can read good articles that will impact your skill and your ability in writing to become a witty writer. Okay, here look at A. Here says look at the event chain diagram. What do you mean by chain diagram? You can see here the chain. Also, what news story is it from this unit? Okay, you know what? If you look at the chain, we can say here chain. What do you mean by chain? When we use writing, when we write something, we have to make something called cohesion and coherence. These two things mean that you have to make a good unity for your writing. How can you make that? You have to make your writing, if you write a story, in a chronological order. Chronological order means you write the events according to the time they happened. So when we talk about the first here, we have to answer who, we have to answer what, where, when, and why. Okay, these are the things that your reader wants to know if you tell a story or if you tell news. So here the chain, starting with the conversation that we studied when Robert was stuck in the elevator. We say Robert was delivering a pizza last Friday night. So here we are starting to tell the story, and we're starting by giving a general idea about what we are going to tell our readers when we write. So it is very important to put the reader in the situation, and it is very good if you can start with where and when. Because when you start with where and when, the reader will be involved in your story. Like for example, yesterday when I was at the mall, here the reader can live the situation with you. So you continue by answering who, when, what, why, how, all these questions. So I will recommend you to start with where and whenever you tell a story. So here we started with who. So we started with Robert was delivering a pizza last Friday night. What happens next? We can tell the elevator in the building broke down. Okay, when he got inside the elevator broke down. What happened next? He stayed calm. He stayed calm, ate the pizza, and he fell asleep. So here also we talk about the time, as we said before, and we continued telling what was the reaction, what Robert did in the next step. Also, after that, he was trapped in the elevator for 10 hours. These are the most important pieces of information. We can make a summary for our writing, and then after that we expand these points into paragraphs or into an essay. Okay, the manager came to fix the elevator. Okay, now we can tell about the events that in the important events in this story by making it like a chain. You see the chain? Here is the chain, and here are the events that happened in the story, which are arranged according to the time. So we call it chronological order. That is when it started. As we said here, Robert was delivering the pizza. After that, the elevator broke down. He was trapped in or stuck in the elevator, and he ate the pizza. He fell asleep. He was trapped for 10 hours. The manager came. All these things happened according to the time. Okay, again, when you write, you have to consider the 5 W's, WH questions. Okay, and also there is a sixth one, which is how. Sometimes you need to include who, what, where, when, and why. This will make a unity for your writing. It is very important, and it will attract the reader. If you miss one of these things, the chain will be cut like this. So you will confuse your reader. Okay, you will distract him from what you are telling, and he will or she will not enjoy your writing. So be careful to make a unity for your writing. You remember in the previous lesson that we studied in the conversation, a dialogue between the reporter and Robert, and he told him what happened to him in this when he was trapped in the elevator. We can go back to this conversation, and after that we're going to write about it. So you remember this conversation, and also we'll give you some hints on how to follow the steps of writing a summary. If you read the conversation between Robert and the reporter and you want to summarize this conversation, you have to take care of the following. Number one, you have to skim the text for the main idea. When you read a text and you want to get a general idea about what this text is about, we call it checking for the gist. The gist, that is the general meaning. That is called skimming. When you skim a passage, that means you are looking for the general idea. But when you scan, that is different. When you look for a specific piece of information, you scan for it, like looking for a date, for example, like a month or a year. You can scan for getting this answer. So skim the text for the main idea. When you skim the text, you can tell what this paragraph or what this article is about. And it is very important also to mention here that you don't need to understand all the meaning of all the words. You can predict the meaning, you can guess the meaning, and also sometimes the writer provides the meaning for some difficult words. So don't worry about the difficult words. You can understand the general meaning by reading for the gist or by skimming the article. Number two, find the important information. Sometimes the writer includes some non-necessary information. You don't need them, but there are some information that are necessary. When you make a summary for that, you need to take care of them, and you need to make notes about them. Number three, delete any unnecessary information. If there are some pieces of information that are not needed, just delete them. Okay. And number four, don't add any opinion of your own. Be practical, and when you make a summary, don't include your opinion, because this is something not needed in the case of summarizing. You are summarizing what is written, and your opinion is something else. There are some kinds of writing that needs your opinion, but in summarizing, you don't need to put your opinion. Number five, use your own words to write the summary. You don't have to use the same words which is in the main article or in the main conversation. You can use your own other words, as we are going to see in the next slide. And B here, read the summary of the news story. Can you think of another suitable headline? Here we talk about the same thing as we said. Robert, when we talk about Robert when he was stuck in the elevator, how can we summarize this story? We can do like this: delivery boy trapped in elevator. You see, it was a long conversation, but we can summarize it like this. Last Friday night, Robert was delivering a pizza to an apartment building. The elevator broke down and was trapped inside. Robert didn't panic. That means here we are using panic instead of he stayed calm, or he didn't bother himself by going or doing something unnecessary. He ate the pizza and fell asleep. 10 hours later, the building manager came to fix the elevator, and he found Robert asleep inside. So here we are writing it, we are summarizing it in a very short paragraph, and still the reader can tell and can understand the whole meaning. Okay, the title that we can suggest, we can say, manager finds delivery boy in elevator. That can be the heading for this story. Or we can say 10 hours trapped in elevator. Also, this can be used as a heading for this story. In exercise C, choose a news story from the unit. Write notes in the event chain diagram. Again, we are going to apply the same thing when we talk about Marta, the brave little girl. How many paragraphs do we have here in this story? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how can we summarize this story? We can do like that. You need now to summarize one of the news stories in the unit in your own words. Use your notes from the event chain diagram. Write your own headline for the story. We can say Marta and her 3-year-old brother were in the car with their dad. Now we're making the setting now. We're telling about who, and we're telling also where, and we're trying now to make the reader involved in the story by answering some of the WH questions that we mentioned before. Next, what we're going to write: a thief carjacked their car. That means stole the car. You see here we're using different words from our own dictionary. A thief carjacked their car while Marta and her brother are still in it. Next, also we can tell that Marta attacked the carjacker until he let them out of the car. Notice here we didn't mention the reaction of the father and what he did and how he was trying to grip the car and so on, because we are making a summary. And also we can tell that she took her brother and walked back to her dad, who was very surprised and very happy. This is how we can summarize the story. Also in this unit, in this lesson, we're going to make a project. You find unusual news event and present it in your own words to the class. You can check for some news from the newspaper or from any media, and you can present it to your class, and after making a summary for that. And we told you the steps of how to make a summary in the writing corner in the previous slides. So it is very important to use your own words and to make it as short as possible and still have the complete meaning. Also from the workbook, you can find in the exercise F here, in writing, you need to write news article about something you saw or read about. What were people doing when the event happened? Give your article a title too. So here we are going to answer this exercise from your workbook, exercise F on page 109 and 118, and we are suggesting an article for you, but you still can have your own article. Let's see what we suggested for you.
People were walking and others were driving along Main Street when money started to fall from the sky. Cars stopped. People stopped. Everyone was looking up when someone shouted, "It's not really money." I was catching one of the bills when I heard this person start to shout. I looked closely at the bill. It wasn't money. It was an advertisement. The furniture store at the corner was having a sale. They used this for publicity. 2 men were standing on the roof, and they were dropping advertisements onto the street.
Okay, now we're moving to the last part of our class today. That is about some irregular verbs. We start with verb number 21. This verb is hear. To hear something, that means you use your ear to realize something. The past is heard. We just add D to the verb, and the past participle is heard. We can use it in an example here in the present. We say the grandfather hears the boy's screams. The grandfather hears. That is talking about the present tense. In the past, the same sentence, but we change the form of the verb. We can say the father heard the boy's screams. When we talk about the action, again, regardless of the time, we say the grandfather has heard the boy's screams. In number 22, the verb hold, the past is held, and the past participle is held. They held a record when they built the snowman here. They hold a record. We're talking about it in the present. In the past, we can say here, they held a record when they made the biggest snowman. And also when we talk about it in the present perfect, we say they have held a record. In number 23, hurt, the past is hurt and the past participle is hurt as well. How can we use it in 3 different sentences? We can say about the wound here in the finger, here in the thumb. We can say the wound hurts. That is in the present. And if we talk about the past, we say the wound hurt We're using the same verb because it is in the past, but we don't add s here because it is in the past. And in the past participle, we can say the wound has hurt. Here also again, time is not important in the last sentence. In number 24, the verb know, the past is knew and the past participle is known. How can we use it in 3 different sentences? We can say Saeed knows a lot about computer. You can tell from the picture here that Saeed learns a lot about computer, so he knows. We're talking about a fact or something that is in the present. When we talk about the past, we can say Saeed knew a lot about computers. That is a thing happened in the past. And when we talk about the fact, regardless of its time, we say Saeed has known a lot about computers. Here again, in the last sentence, we care about the verb and more than we care about the time. And the last verb of today is leave. The past is left and the past participle is left as well. How can we use it in 3 different sentences? You can write your own, you can say your own, or you can see the examples that we provide from your textbook. We can say the flight in the airport. Look at the guy here. He's at the airport, and the flight was delayed. Okay, so we can talk about the present. Say the flight leaves late. It leaves late. We are talking about present. In the past, when we talk about the plane, when it left already, we can say the flight left late. Yesterday, last week, last month, and so on. Here we talk about the past tense. And in the past participle, we can use it also when we talk about the action, regardless of the time. We can say here, the flight has left. Okay, the flight has left. Again, leave, we can use it in the present. Left, we can use it in the past. And we can use also left in the past participle. And by this, we come to the end of our class today. Thank you for watching and see you inshallah in our next episode.